The last lesson. For young Franz, that morning in Alsace started with a heavy dose of dread. He was late for school, and worse, he hadn't memorized a single rule about participles. His strict schoolmaster, Mr. Hamel, had promised a grilling. Franz briefly considered skipping school to chase birds' eggs or watch the Prussian soldiers drilling, but he resisted the temptation and hurried toward the schoolhouse. As he passed the town hall, he noticed a crowd gathered in front of the bulletin board. For the past 2 years, that board had brought nothing but bad news, lost battles, and official decrees. Franz didn't stop, wondering what could be wrong now. When he reached the schoolyard, the usual chaotic din of slamming desks and lessons chanted in unison was entirely missing. A strange, Sunday morning stillness hung over the building. Heart-pounding, Franz opened the door. Instead of scolding him, Mr. Hamel looked at him with an unfamiliar, gentle sadness. "Go to your place quickly, little Franz," Mr. Hamel said softly. "We've a beginning without you." Franz scrambled to his desk. As his panic subsided, he noticed Mr. Hamel was wearing his beautiful green coat and embroidered silk cap, an outfit reserved strictly for inspection days. But the biggest surprise lay at the back of the classroom. The usually empty benches were filled with the village elders, including old Hauser holding an ancient primer. Everyone looked deeply sorrowful. Before Franz could make sense of it, Mr. Hamel mounted his chair and delivered a blow that shook Franz to his core. "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson." The words hit Franz like a thunderclap. The last French lesson? He suddenly regretted every class he had skipped and every hour wasted. His books, which had felt like such a boring burden minutes ago, suddenly felt like old friends he couldn't bear to part with. And the thought of Mr. Hamel leaving forever made him forget all about the teacher's harsh ruler and erratic temper. The lesson began, and Franz was called upon to recite. He would have given anything to speak clearly, but he got tangled up on the very first words and stood there, gripping his desk in shame. Mr. Hamel did not scold him. "I won't chide you, little Franz," he said. "You must feel bad enough. Every day we say, 'I have plenty of time. I'll learn it tomorrow.' And now you see where we have come out. That is the great trouble with Alsace. She puts off learning till tomorrow." Mr. Hamel then spoke of the French language, calling it the most beautiful and logical language in the world. He urged them to guard it because when a people are enslaved, holding fast to their language is like having the key to their prison. They turned to grammar, and Franz was amazed at how easily he understood everything. It was as if Mr. Hamel wanted to give them all his knowledge before going away. After grammar came writing. Mr. Hamel had prepared new copies for them, written beautifully. France, Alsace. France, Alsace. The only sound in the room was the scratching of pens on paper. Suddenly, the church clock struck 12. At that exact moment, the trumpets of the Prussian soldiers returning from drill sounded under their windows. Mr. Hamel stood up from his chair, deathly pale. "My friends," he gasped. I... But something choked him. Turning to the blackboard, he took a piece of chalk and, bearing on with all his might, he wrote in the largest letters he could, "Vive la France." Then he stopped, leaned his head against the wall, and without a word, motioned to them with his hand. "School is dismissed. You may go." The last lesson serves as a poignant reminder that we often fail to appreciate our culture, education, and heritage until they are on the brink of being taken away. Through Franz, The story beautifully illustrates that language is the very soul of a community. It challenges us to cherish our roots, reminding us that true freedom begins with guarding the identity of who we are.